Hey, Whippersnaps, this is TortimerTheGrey. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Pokemon Showdown Little Cup Tournament. Today, I bring you guys another set of Consolation bracket battles. I actually do have a Final Four battle to show you guys, but it's between Klungar and Nougat, and those guys, or Klungar at the very least, had a battle like less than an episode ago, or like an episode or two ago. Like there's one episode between this one and Klungar's last battle, and so I figured we'd space it out a little bit before we gave you guys too much of the championship bracket and not enough of the consolation bracket. Just space things out, you know, just it makes sense. Anyway, today we have me going up against the TheEspressoCat in our consolation battle bracket match, and we are fighting for the right to move on in the consolation bracket and take on the winner of either Celine Eleanor or Scad, which is going to be a very good battle and probably not going to work out real well for either the TheEspressoCat or me. Whoever gets to move on, it's probably going to be a bloody next battle. So we're going to see how today goes, because I think we probably have a better matchups today than we're probably going to get next time. Here we go. Alrighty guys, the TheEspressoCat leads off with Chibi, his Litwick, and Hal is going to throw up the Stealth Rocks. Chibi throws up the Trick Room, which is not a setup you usually see in Little Cup, but ECAT trying it out, which I give him mad props for. Throws up that Flamethrower up against Hale, but Hale switches out into Dory. Dory's got Dolly switching in as it throws up the Scald, getting the burn off there. Dory, however, does not have Volt Switch, but rather Water Absorb, or Volt Absorb, but rather Water Absorb, so switches out in the face of the Electric type. The Drillbur going to, Ryobi going to switch in, throw up the Rock Slide as the Trick Room ends, allowing him to move first and finish off the the Mareep. Mareep is what that Pokemon is. Dory switches in on the Scald from Einstein, going to get healed up a little bit there as Leo switches in. Taking that Thunderbolt, resisted, but does okay damage, I guess, considering. Throws up that Seed Bomb, hoping to catch Dory, but Dory is already long gone, bringing in Hal. Hal is going to give him the opportunity, though, as he sets up with Calm Mind to set up those Stealth Rocks, which is a little unfortunate. We don't actually have... Well, no, that's not true. Ryobi's a spinner, but most of my teams don't have a spinner, so I got confused there. But Hal able to set up some boosts, get the Shadow Ball off to finish off the Litwick. But then Inkay comes in with the Topsy-Turvy to completely flip our stat boost on its head, as per the name, and gonna finish off Hal there without too much trouble. At that point, Boots comes in, and Boots is going to get the Fake Out off, which is going to do okay, not real great, but is going to activate the Berry Juice and get Inkay back up to full health, which is a little scary, so we're going to switch in Fumzy, who's able to take those physical attacks a little bit better. Sets up that Superpower, which was kind of what I was expecting. The Psycho Cut then comes in. I'm very lucky that Fumzy hangs on at least long enough to get that burn going. So that's going to lower the attack a little bit, but Fumzy's still going to go out there then on the next turn. At which point Boots comes back in, now hoping that we'll be able to get some stuff going, get the critical Fake Out, which probably mattered, considering how little the other one does. I even said, I apologize as soon as that happened. I was like, oh, that's rough. I don't normally feel bad about crits, but you know, in a tournament setting, I feel a little bad about it. But Dory going to come in, get another heal off of Einstein, and then throw up the Thunderbolt to finish off the Psyduck. At which point Marie, the Tailo, is going to come in, and Dory is going to take a hard return. Going to activate Berry Juice, though, get Dory back up to health, and then finish off with another Thunderbolt. So, yeah, there we go, guys. Battle number 1 goes to TortimerTheGrey, and a great little battle there from ECAT. A couple of RNGs, one way or the other, and that probably could have gone a very different way. And this isn't even one of ECAT's main teams. So, let's check out battle number 2 and see what we have in store there, shall we? Here we go. Alrighty guys, we decided together to switch things up a little bit. I figured, having taken battle number 1, I felt a little comfortable trying some things out, so I decided to bring in my something fishy team here. And Doyle's going to come in, throw up the rocks, get a little bit of damage off on Copernicus there as well. Get the Thunder Wave up ourselves, but Copernicus's Limber is going to make that negligible. At which point we throw up the Leech Seed up on the Magby. Doyle's going to get out of there with the Magby coming in, though. Not going to take that. Fumzy takes the Flame Charge pretty well, though, as Magby starts boosting its speed. But going to switch out there in face of the Clear Smog and the Leech Seed and all of that. Just not worth keeping Magby in at that point. So we bring in Lol, expecting the Psychic from the Staryu, able to be immune to that and finish off with a knockoff, so a good switch there for us. Lockdawalla then comes in and is going to force out Lol, expecting that Dazzling Gleam, so I bring in Depth Charge, my special wall. The Psychic gets a critical hit there, and even with the special defense lower, I figured given that being a critical, we could probably survive one more hit, and we do just barely survive long enough to get the rest up. And so I was kind of just crossing my fingers hoping that I would have enough health to survive so I could get the rest up and start throwing up some Sleep Talks here, get the Air Slash off on the newly switched in Newton, but gonna switch out in the face of 4 times effective hits there, bringing in Fumesy. Gonna take that Power Up Punch, which is gonna start the boost going, but as opposed to with the Inkay last battle, I throw up the burn here, and I'm thankfully going to survive long enough to get this Clear Smog up that I couldn't get on the boosting Inkay last time, able to get rid of those stat raises there. So that works out pretty nicely. Thunder Punch coming in to do some damage there, but Newton getting finished off by the Clear Smog then. Lockdawalla then going to switch back in, Fumesy coming on out, bringing in Depth Charge once again. And Depth Charge is going to be able to take that Dazzling Gleam without too much trouble, and the Earth Energy Ball not doing too much. The Air Slash doing good damage on Lockdawalla though, and the Psychic continuing to chip away as Depth Charge wakes up and gets a Scald going there, which is going to finish off the Abra. So very important to have strong defensive cores in your team. I've had a couple of opponents complain about it, but and even I think I was talking to Klungar in one of his battles, going up against some strong defensive walls. It's hard to get over those, and yeah, that's the point. I mean, I couldn't be any good at these if I couldn't trust on like Fumesy or a Hal or Depth Charge or some of those. They're tough to get through, so I'm glad to see Depth Charge doing some good work there. Doyle throws up the Protect, which is going to avoid the Drain Punch, get a little bit of health back from that Leech Seed, but going to go down to a super effective critical hit. Drain Punch there on the next turn, doing negligible damage with the Iron Barbs there, at which point Fumesy is going to switch into a Thunder Wave and going to get a little bit of Leech Seed life back, but as Copernicus switches out, Gangster switches into the Will-O-Wisp there. A little bit worried that this thing probably has Shed Skin, just because that's the set you're probably supposed to be running on Scraggies, because I have people telling me all the time, oh, you shouldn't run Moxie, you should be running Shed Skin, so I figure that if people are following standard sets, that's probably what you'd be looking at, but it doesn't activate, and Scraggy switches out into Magby. Magby gonna force out Fumesy and bring in Lol, who's gonna get a Flame Charge in the face. Fear Ruben then Mach Punching, which is going to leave Lol just barely alive, but alive enough to land the Drain Punch there, get a little bit of health back, get the Moxie boost, and finish off the Magby, because I do what I want! And Lol is going to take a hard fake out from Copernicus, and I get a good hit here. Thankfully, Ekant didn't realize that Lol was Scarfed, and so he did the speed comparisons, because Showdown will show you what speed each Pokemon is, and you can kind of make sure you're going to outspeed. And he assumed he would be faster, so he didn't use the quick attack to finish off Lol, but Scarf allowed me to finish off there, and Lol takes the win for us. So in two battles, I take the victory today, which will eliminate the TheEspressoCat from the consolation bracket, but not without having won several great battles himself. And so thank you so much for participating today, ECAT. But those two battles will move me into the next round of the consolation bracket, which, as I said, will put me up against the winner between Celine, Eleanor, and Scad. And I told you, I'm like, it probably doesn't matter. Me winning today doesn't make much difference because I'm probably getting eliminated in the next round of my own tournament. Again, I guess I should say. I've already been eliminated once in this thing, but I'm not eliminated, just move to the next bracket. Anyway. So yeah, we'll be waiting for the battle between Celine, Eleanor, and Scad, which I expect will be a pretty good battle. Those are two tough competitors, and we'll see who comes out on top to face me in the next round. Okay, so we've actually had some movement in terms of communication with some of you guys. I reached out once again just before recording this episode, of just kind of hoping that I could potentially get some more movement. Not really expecting much, but actually saw some movement here. So, as we're looking at the consolation bracket here, David Kahn and Codeman, I actually got in contact with Codeman, and he is attempting to get something going. If I don't hear from David Kahn by the time I record the next episode, probably, if either I haven't heard from him or Codeman hasn't heard from him, we probably will be doing, well, it may not even be a coin toss, because if somebody is completely incommunicado and I can't get a hold of them, it doesn't do me any good to move David Kahn further in the tournament. Which he's normally an active commenter, so I'm hoping that we will hear from him. But at this point, I really want to get this thing moving along, so if I don't hear from David Kahn in the next couple of days, we're going to be moving Codeman, who I do have contact with, up into the next round of the tournament to go up against Dragonite Strike. I would say it would just be a coin flip, but again, it doesn't do me any good to move somebody who I can't get in touch with up into the bracket and then have the same issue in the next round. So, just the nature of the beast, that will probably be what happens if I don't hear, either me or Codeman doesn't hear from them. If one of us does, then we will just, you know, we'll let them do their battle and we'll move on. But hopefully we can get that going soon. But anyway, I've heard from at least Codeman, so hopefully we'll be able to get something moving there. Also heard from Ready Let's Go, and actually interested in continuing on in the tournament, so I wasn't sure when we moved Shunosaurus up there last episode if that was going to be the case, but it does sound like it is going to be. So he's going to try and get in touch with Shunosaurus, but shouldn't be too much trouble. They're both in the Discord now, which is very useful. And Shunosaurus is in the Discord pretty frequently, so I imagine that Chris, Ready Let's Go, will not have too much trouble getting in touch with GBL4 Turtle Shunosaurus. So hopefully we'll be getting a battle there too, which will be exciting. And the winner of them will go on to face Aaron Cerise. I think that's all the movement we've had here in the consolation bracket. I have reached out to both Pablo and Red Wolf, just letting them know that they're matched up at this point. I haven't heard anything as of yet. But that happened, I think we did that coin flip last episode, so I'm not super worried about it. I do have the other Final Four battle that we're going to be putting up, so they've got a little bit of time to get going on that, and so hopefully it won't take too long to get that going. But you know, the problem with Epic Big Nick and Red Wolf wasn't that I couldn't get a hold of either of them. It's like they were getting in touch with each other, they just couldn't find a time to battle. So Red Wolf's been around. Usually when I send Pablo a message on YouTube, he responds, so I'm imagining we'll be able to get those two guys matched up. We'll just kind of see how it goes. Anyway, guys, if you have any questions at all, feel free to let me know. But a special thank you again to EspressoCat for participating in the tournament. I really do appreciate your continued support on this channel, and especially putting up some good battles in the tournament here. It really it was a pleasure to watch you battle, sir, and I appreciate all the support you've been giving. So, and a special thank you also to everybody else who's currently in the process of communicating with their opponents, trying to get battles in. I know it's work on your guys' end, and hopefully it'll be worth it. We'll get this tournament wrapped up, and it'll have been fun, and we will have a champion that we can crown, which will be awesome. Yeah, so I know it's work. I appreciate you guys continuing to do that. Please continue to do that. Let me know where you guys are at. If you're having difficulty, you know, if you know you have a matchup and you're having difficulty getting in touch with your opponent, let me know, just so I know that somebody's doing something, because at this point, you know, people could be reaching out to each other and I just wouldn't even have an idea of it because I haven't really seen a whole lot of movement. So I'm pestering everybody individually. It's easier if you guys just let me know kind of what's going on. Yeah, and for all you guys who are watching, liking, commenting, I appreciate that as well. The support is always appreciated. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I've been TortimerTheGrey, and you guys have been great. Make sure to leave those likes, comments, subscriptions for me, guys, and I'll see y'all back here next time. Alrighty, guys, have a good one.